When you were growing up in Bhutan, did you ever imagine that this is what it's going to come towards? And when did you start to when did you decide that, all right, let me work towards this, let me work towards the climate, let me work towards sustainability, let me work towards agriculture?
नबिलको हरेक खातासँग सफलताको गाथा जोडिएको छ। देशमै पसिना बगाउँछु भन्नेहरूको स्वाभिमानमा मौलिकता जोडिएको छ। नबिल ब्याङ्क केवल एउटा ब्याङ्क मात्र नभई तपाईको परिवारको हिस्सा बन्न पाउँदा हामी कृतज्ञ छौं। नबिल ब्याङ्क, सँगै अघि। नबिल ब्याङ्क, सँगै अघि।
When you were growing up in Bhutan, did you ever imagine that this is what it's going to come towards? And when did you start to when did you decide that, all right, let me work towards this, let me work towards the climate, let me work towards sustainability, let me work towards agriculture? Because at one point of your life, you were the Minister of Agriculture in Bhutan, if I'm not mistaken, for 5 years, I believe.
Yes, thank you for that question. Very important question. The changes. See, when we were in school, I went to a school nearby. At that time, we had no roads. The roads just came to my village some 20 years ago. And electricity came only in 2008. You can imagine, the kind of setting that grew up. Of course, I didn't stay there all the time. I went to school and then I went to universities abroad.
That is your village, if I'm not mistaken? Along that line?
No.
Not your village, but Bhutan.
That's one village in Bhutan, but
okay.
Not exactly.
Not your village, but a village in Bhutan.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So, I never heard, or some people never taught us. Our teachers never taught us about climate change and ecosystem degradation and all these issues and challenges that we are, facing now. For example, I never imagined that we'll have to drink water from pet waters. We used to go to the spring, drink straight from the pond or from the spring water. And that used to be the case. I never imagined that you would come to a stage when you have to, have drinking water in bottles. So that's one example. Now, just one memory that always I carry with me is the river in front of my village, the Tang River. It used to get frozen, in winter altogether. And I remember, my, elder siblings going down to the river banks to collect fish in the morning. Yeah, because they've, half frozen, half-eaten fish by the otters. So by the time the otters could eat the fish, it gets frozen. And so it just lives there. So those, we used to remember, collecting those fish. But now we don't see the river getting frozen at all. Forget that. We don't see ice around the village. So these are, some vivid memories. And of course, we complain about cold now, but I think compared to what we used to, the conditions we used to have, so now it is really warm.
Things have changed.
Things have changed, yeah.
In the past 3 to 4 decades, how did things escalate this much, sir?
Well, of course, in our setting, we never related it to industrialization, to what happened 200 years ago or so. But I think a lot of things have escalated in the last 30 years or so. If you look at the rate of glacier melting, it happened in the last 30 years. The pace of melting has really increased.
Since 90s?
Yeah, since the 90s, in the last 30 years or so. Yeah, but it was happening gradually before, but not that intensely.
I straight want to dive into a few things right away. Let me retrack back and talk a little bit about ECMOD. It was 41.5 years ago, right? 41,
years,
almost
yes.
42 years of
yes.
ECMOD in Nepal.
Yes.
Having, taking care of, let's say, working towards eight different countries and thousands of kilometers of mountains. Let me put it that way.
Right.
3,500, as you mentioned, right?
Yes.
The inception of ECMOD, Dr. Pema, if you want to share that story.
Well, actually, ECMOTH was conceived at one time as one of the CG institutions, the group of agriculture research institutions that have been created in the 80s, or in the late 70s. So there was an idea to establish one institution dedicated to mountains. And but somehow this did not come through. So UNESCO actually came up with the idea. And, and together with the governments of Nepal, Switzerland, and Germany, then decided to, establish ECMOTH. So it was formally, it formally came into existence in 1983.
It says that science, policy, and knowledge, and humans come together. Would you elaborate that a little bit?
Yes, ECMOTH actually is a unique organization, and I think I don't see many organizations with that kind of interesting mandate. Because ECMOTH is an institution where we can bring science, policy, and practice together. So most institutions are either dedicated to research, or to policy, or to technology development. But ECMOTH can work across all this, spectrum. So our role is, linking scientific evidence to policies and to practices on the ground. So that gives us a very wide space to work with. So linking science to policy and practice, in a nutshell, that is our mandate.
How has it been for 41 and a half years in Nepal and across the region? To summarize it.
Yes, I think ECMOTH did make its contribution in terms of creating the level of understanding about mountain issues, the challenges the mountain communities are facing, and also is one organization which serves as a neutral convener for bringing together scientists, policymakers, bureaucrats, practitioners, farmers, students together to discuss about common issues, common challenges. Because look at the issues that we are discussing now, climate change. Climate change knows no national boundaries. Look at air pollution. It doesn't stop at our borders. Look at disasters. It doesn't stop at our national borders. So all these issues are transboundary in nature.
Yeah.
So ECMOTH is well placed, in a neutral, apolitical, way to bring our, people together.
I read about politically neutral as well as trust-based system, right?
Yes.
Now, obviously, politically neutral, I totally understand. We all get it. Trust-based system, that is trusting each other, trusting the regions to work together. Is that it?
It's building trust, I would say.
Building trust.
Yes. So, trust comes gradually. It doesn't happen overnight. But we should not give up because people don't trust each other. Trust has to be earned. So, I think in a way we contribute to that because the starting point is for people to come together, for individuals to come and talk to each other, understand the challenges, understand the opportunities, and then share the experiences. And that is what we do. So that is how we build trust. If you don't even have the opportunity to talk to each other, if scientists from one country is not able to talk to, scientists working in the same fields in another country, how would they share their experience? How would they build trust and confidence? So that is, I think this is the starting point. And if bureaucrats don't get to meet each other, how would they influence their, politicians or decision makers? When they, understand each other, then of course that will translate into convincing. Mm-hmm. They have the basis for convincing their, political bosses, senior bureaucrats at home. So that's what we bank on.
तपाईले हाम्रो क्लिप एकदमै एन्जोय गर्नुभयो होला अब पुरै भिडियो हेर्नको लागि चाहिँ युट्युबमा सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला व्यास मिडिया नेटवर्क